Okay, I want to do a video about sleep. So, how to how to get into a good sleep schedule, I guess, is the basic plan. It's a basic question. You know, you've acknowledged that sleep's good for you. You've acknowledged that you want to get more of it. So what do? Well, perhaps you're a bit like me. For a long while, I was a really terrible sleeper, and still am really. But I've taken a few changes that have really improved my sleep, and I'm on a journey to getting up really early every day from excellent quality sleep. That's my vision in the future. Most people who talk to you about sleep are people who are naturally very good sleepers, and the kind of advice they'll give you might not be particularly relevant to you. On me, on the other hand, I've always thought myself as a night owl. Had bouts where I've struggled to sleep outright. People have had it worse than me, but generally I have a fairly good understanding of how difficult sleep is for some people. So I think my advice might be a bit more relatable to people who actually need it. You know, like Matt Walker and people like that. Like, they're great people, they know their stuff. But I don't think any of them have the first-hand experience of, starting from point zero. So, to give you some background myself, I, for the last sort of basically since school ended, throughout school I would go to bed very late, like 11, 12, and getting up at 7, that was, that's quite late, given you have to get up at 7 to go to school. Often take a while to go to sleep, lie in any chance I got. Had bouts where I wouldn't call it insomnia, because I know it's a more official term, but definitely bouts where I couldn't sleep and I'd just stay up, go to school on 2 or 3 hours of sleep, and then in university, or whether it's not the same, need to get up early, I'd often I'd just lie in, stay up ridiculously late and lie in ridiculously late, kind of 3, 4 o'clock, go to sleep, get up at 12, 1 o'clock. Sometimes later, I'd oversleep. Occasionally drag myself out of bed for an early lecture, but in the long term, I'll just sleep even more the next day. It's a very unhealthy sleep schedule. And I figured this had to change, so I did a lot of research about how to change your sleep, how to improve it. And the one thing that I've implemented that's really worked, and it's a thing that you'll have heard from everyone, so it's not very nice advice, but that is to go to bed at the same time every night. It's not very sexy advice, because it's very inconvenient, but unfortunately that's just the price you pay for getting an early night, and annoying though it is, it really is worth it. So if you're someone who's got bad sleep and wants to improve it, really the question is, are you willing to go to bed at the same time every night? There are other little tricks you can try here and there, which we'll talk about, but I think that's the one thing that really will just make a huge difference, and for everyone. Other things are more personal. You might find one thing that really works for you, like having a hot shower or something like that, or meditation or whatever. But that's the one thing I think that's going to make the most difference, and it's annoying because it's it's nice to have a flexible schedule, you know, go to sleep whenever, wake up whenever. But if you want great quality sleep and to be awake during the day, that's the price you got to pay. So decide whether that's for you. And if it is for you, if you decide you want to make that sacrifice to your life to improve your quality of sleep, then I would say do it this way. Because what a lot of people will tell you is the key to establishing that is by getting up at the same time every morning. But I actually think because that way your body clock sort of resets, you're more tired in the evening. The problem I have with that is if you're coming off a bad sleep schedule, it's very difficult to make yourself get up early, particularly if you have a lack of discipline as well, which you might do. So what I suggest is start upside down, go to bed at the same time every night. And that might mean that you go to bed before you are tired. And maybe as you start doing it, you are awake for a bit longer before you go to sleep. But I think you'll find that it's much easier to get up at the time you want, and thus firm that sort of sleep cycle. If you do it that way around, than if you start with the most difficult thing, which is getting up early. So that's step number one. I'm going to talk about some other ones in another video, but hope you found that interesting.